Man, I ain't gonna lie, gay. I know y'all been hearing about that David shit, bro, and I ain't seen no new updates on. I said updates. I ain't seen no updates on that bitch, gay. So I'm finna react to that bitch, bro. Like, comment, subscribe, gay. Let's get into it, man.
Story, and it centers on
a
roller coaster and an apparent trip to Six Flags. Private investigator Steve Fisher, who we've had on the show before, who is actually investigating
that Six Flags.
Says that this is a key moment in understanding what may have happened to Celeste. This detail could completely reframe the timeline and show that Celeste maybe wasn't just missing, but maybe was with somebody. We're going to dig into this and more right now. Welcome to Sidebar, presented by Law and Crime. I'm Jesse.
Man, hey, first, I ain't gonna lie, this ass a little weirdo, bro. Like,
anybody's been following us here on Side case, one that we've covered.
We fuck with Dave, you
disappearance and death of 14-year-old Celeste Rivas Hernandez.
Even before the situation, gay, like, I ain't never heard of his ass, but like before any of that shit, bro, like, even if, like, from what I seen, gay, with the clothes he make, the music he make, the way he looked, like. Bro, I would, like, if you was already fucking with David before this situation, gay, you was a weirdo, bro.
As you may know, when a Tesla was towed, and officers then discovered human remains in the trunk. The body was later identified as Celeste Rivas Hernandez, who had been reported missing months earlier from Lake Elsinore. Now, the Tesla was registered to 20-year-old Six Flags trip, which we want to talk about.
Yeah, that's what I want.
This relationship could have been. When did he see her last? Did he see her? And these questions have never gone away. Social media lit up with claims of a possible relationship between the two, right? Apparent matching tattoos, maybe private messages, a rumored unreleased song with her name in the title. TMZ had reported at one point in time that those around David believed that Celeste was 19 years old, and now we have this new development. Six Flags trip.
Not believe she was fucking 19.
Hollywood Hills home, which was near where the Tesla was found, that quickly became a centerpiece of this investigation. LAPD executed a search warrant. They collected electronics, maybe even search trains. Maybe
know this game.
The law enforcement he brings it on this program before. Line certificate that was made out to a girl named Esmeralda, dated
I want to get to the private investigator. I ain't gonna lie, this nigga yapping,
16 days after Celeste was reported missing. And that date stood out.
Bro, do they keep doing this fucking
April 21st, David had apparently
I'm skipping. He's talking about some bullshit.
David had been staying there in that property close to.
Shut your ass up, nigga.
Steve, so good to see you again. Thanks so much for
this is a news update, nigga. I mean that update us right from the last time y'all talked.
Something regarding this apparent six.
Nah, I don't know. I forgot what he said again. I need to really go back. 7:43, bro. No, actually, I'm not gonna go back because he said something about Six Flags, bro. And this is a video with that nigga David at Six Flags with this black ass star on his forehead, gang. So we finna see what they talking about, bro. I ain't gonna lie.
I mentioned it a little bit before that you found this building.
This shit crazy, gang.
In the name of Esmeralda that was dated, I believe, April 21st. So
Build-A-Bear certificate.
16 days after Celeste was reported missing.
Gang, you see how the feds play, bro? And like investigation is like crazy. They go through every fucking detail like throughout the day, bro. From receipts to the timestamps to the evidence to, to the DNA to the whatever the fuck, bro. Like they gonna come find shit, bro.
Roller coaster on the same day. What is this? If I got anything wrong, please let me know.
Nah, if anyone in that video, they get a hint, Celeste, bro.
TikTok.
But like, why is this nigga? I haven't seen shit about him saying he's arrested or none of that. Like, no questioning, none of that, bro. Like, I don't know, but LAPD be weird, bro.
It can,
I would have been the first to lock his ass up.
Scream at Six Flags, and Six Flags has a Build-A-Bear. A shop there, and they have at different theme parks. They have at Knott's and whatnot, and I know some people are confused about that, but he was at Six Flags that day, and at the house, which is, I think, the important part that some people are losing sight of, is that we found the certificate at David's house, and it's in the name of Esmeralda, and it's dated the same day, the 21st, that he was at Six Flags, and and then just a few days later, Celeste is photographed at Esmeralda's high school graduation, and this is all during the time that Celeste is reported as a missing person.
So does that give you a time of when she
was
alive?
Well, yeah. So this is going back, a year.
Hey, y'all, this is a private investigator, by the way.
So this is right after she went missing. So we've all been under the impression that she's been gone, over a year. But there's these times that we're now finding out, well, was she missing, or was she a missing person? So,
but she was born in 2010. It's crazy.
For her not being in school, or there would be a CPS report, investigation opened right away. It appears that they knew where she was at, and she showed up at graduation. She's showing up now at the Six Flags along with a cousin, and then she shows up in September arguing with neighbors at her own home. So, and the family has the responsibility to report that to law enforcement. If you have an open missing persons case on a minor, if you have any contact with them, you got to report that.
And was this information that has just recently been discovered by you? Is this something that you believe the family or law enforcement knew beforehand?
I don't know.
Man, the family knew, bro. The family knew.
Discovered it.
We already,
ago, I guess.
We already seen that she was at the crib arguing with somebody.
A search warrant took place, but I don't know if they really had reason. I don't know what the scope of that search warrant even was. So I don't know if it's something that they would have been.
Bro, this nigga just look weird.
That we know about it. I don't know if it's any.
That look like handsome Squidward.
I don't know if they're even investigating, or if they even care if people knew that Celeste really wasn't a missing person. I just think it's important for the overall story, to be told that there were people that knew, and possibly people that could have intervened in this situation.
And to be clear, has this detail given you a better understanding of what the possible relationship is or was between David and Celeste? Does it give you a time frame of maybe when they had last spoke or last had contact? If that's
they need to find out who the fuck is that. They probably know, but still.
So far, the last that I have proof of is January 2nd. Now, that's what I have. I don't know what LAPD has. I don't know what some of her friends might have text messages from her. But what I have is January 2nd. But I think what it does show is that there was a relationship. They were doing things, social things, and she was out of school. She was on, she had dropped out. She was, I think, 7th grade. This is, as far as I'm concerned, this is really serious stuff. And I think
a little ass girl, this nigga about
it's
push 30 gig.
So we could be, acute fentanyl intoxication or whatever. So they have.
Gang, somebody knew where she was, but I ain't gonna lie. Like his whole Discord knew where she was. Fucking. Like everybody, but somebody knew exactly where she was, like the address. She was talking to at least one person, like every other week, gang. I ain't gonna lie.
In other cases, yes.
So they've in other cases. So it shows that
she's in 7th grade, gang. She not just finna not talk to her friends no more. She with this rich ass nigga, bro. Like
right now,
bro, come on, gang. Let's be for real.
Just days away from. Now that doesn't mean the autopsy report is done in total, but it does mean that on the website we could see a determination of the cause and manner of death, which will then should free up LAPD to do what they're going to do.
Do you have any idea of what that could be based on what you're seeing? I mean, again, going back to our previous conversation, you had mentioned that there seemed to be plans in that house of potentially discarding Celeste's body. Is there anything that you could tell us, anything you can glean, obviously without compromising the investigation, about what happened to her?
I can tell you that we did find opiate prescription medication bottles in the house with
opioids.
They could eat, opioids. They could be taking them 100% legitimately. So just because you have pain medication, but there was a few bottles of it in the house, and my gut tells me, I have no inside information on this at all, but my gut tells me the way things are lining up right now, I'm feeling this is probably going to be something like an accidental overdose. And they just made a horrible decision after the fact because they didn't want the relationship to be, to get out there, because it would definitely hurt his, career, if not him be criminally charged. And I think they just made a really, really bad decision. I think that the medical examiner would have been able to tell pretty quickly if, it was strangulation or
overdose,
because you would still see the bone, the hybrid bone broken, or you see blood vessels broken in the eyes, stuff like that. Or if it was a gunshot, that's pretty obvious. So since they couldn't determine that, I think it's coming down to toxicology. So
because one of the last times
and a private investigator called it an overdose. Game, was it intentional? I don't know, bro. Because they don't know how she died.
Part of the conversation is that law enforcement, as far as we can see, they haven't come out and said that there was a crime that was committed other than disposing of the body, unless something's changed, unless something's seen different. That's all that they say right now. I mean, they say it's possible that it could be something else, but it's also possible that, like you said, she died under circumstances where no one may not necessarily be held criminally liable, might not be a murder, but someone may be charged for disposing of the body.
Yeah, I mean, I think they said their exact words where might not be criminal culpability beyond concealment of a body.
Right.
And, that could be the truth. I think LAPD right now has a preliminary indication from the medical examiner's office. I'm sure that the toxicology results are back. I think that determination is still being made of what the cause and manner is, but I think LAPD knows, and
I didn't even know this picture had her right.
Seen any
weirdo,
seen coming in and out of LAPD headquarters or anything being maybe being questioned, or we haven't seen any statements of maybe attorneys getting ahead of what might be coming. So I don't know. I think it's going to be minimal.
I want to talk about some of the posts that you've shared publicly about the case and get your thoughts on it, because you've been very candid on social media, highlight some of the aspects that the public hasn't seen yet. You made a post earlier today, got a lot of attention, and that thread pushes back hard against a lot of what you say is community-driven misinformation in this case, because in it, you say that Reddit threads that were useful early on have now become, quote, overrun by people misreading your work and claiming that you said that Celeste was never at that house. You make a distinction there that I want you to state clearly on the record, right? Because first, can you explain what you did say about whether Celeste lived at that house versus whether she was ever at the house at any point?
Yeah, so what I said is we don't have any proof, meaning I've been pretty open that we found a lot of media, a couple thousand images, right? And in those, with Celeste in them, they're not at the house. So we don't have anything tying her to the house. Do I think she's at the house? 100%. I'm certain she's been in the house. I just don't have any evidence to say, here's the proof.
But how do you got thousands of pictures, gang, and you have never seen her there, gang? That's crazy.
A lot of people are.
Let's that nigga just know where every camera was.
House at some point.
Shit, you never know.
No, I said I'm certain she was at that house at some time, just because of the relationship they had. But I don't have any proof that she was ever at the house. I don't have any pictures. Now, people are pointing to a different house on Doheny that was like a streaming house that her and David were. They did a stream from there, and there's several.
Oh, bro, they did say something about a house close by, though.
Everybody's known about that house since the very beginning. And I think they're thinking that he kept that as like a safe house for her, and
that bitch probably had no cameras.
I know it's not the case, but we don't have anything that indicates she was living there. We do have indication that there was other females that were living in the house, maybe not full time, but regularly. I mean, they had nightstands with their stuff in it and whatnot, but it didn't belong to Celeste.
Mm-hmm. I'm glad you made that distinction, and also because you also called out a lot of people on Reddit for jumping to conclusions, and that the public noise can affect.
That's Reddit, gay. They gonna do what they do, bro.
I mean, how is this, in your mind, the spread of what you see as misinformation impacted your work your ability to understand what happened, collect evidence, maybe the LAPD's handling of the investigation?
Listen, I think in the beginning, if they were a huge help, I think there's a lot of stuff the LAPD would have never known about, especially in the Discord server, if it wasn't for Reddit. I think what my frustration is
Man, Reddit help with everything.
Listen, every case I go to, I have this core group of people that just will take the exact opposite narrative of me. They're coming at me, and that just kind of muddies the water.
But like, have you ever thought about it? Like, who the fuck actually just sit on Reddit and type? Like, you probably didn't walk past a nigga today that like be on Reddit 24/7 game. Like, niggas really be on Reddit.
Loud and they'll just say things that are just absolutely 100% false. They'll state
Reddit like the dark web game. Do your homework on the dark web.
The first thing they read, they believe. I mean, there's this whole thing going on now about this Knott's Berry Farm, and nobody seems to understand the point is not whether they were at Knott's or Six Flags, even though they were at Six Flags. It's that the certificate ended up at David's house. So how did it end up at David's house if there wasn't a relationship that Esmeralda knew, that Emma was hanging out with them?
Oh, so they say... So they said she was at Six Flags with him.
It becomes a little distracting there, but at the beginning, I gotta say, it was really helpful because they had that entire server, and there's a ton of information in that Discord server,
Because, bro, everybody in that bitch weird, bro. They all know about that shit, gang.
Yeah, no, 100%. And by the way, talking about the house, so over the weekend, you tweeted.
But I wonder if this mean anything, bro. Like, I'm finna look it up, bro. Cause his ass like the highest little secrets and shit. Is it, bro? Esmeralda? Yeah, that's the bill right there. Who is this? Who is this? Is a Mexican television. What the fuck do that say? I don't know what that say. I don't know. Is this like a princess or a gem? Man, I ain't no damn investigator. They definitely looked into that shit.
Talking about the house.
Oh, bro, they did. They damn police, gang. They look at all that shit.
At that house in Doheny, you described the anxiety, the fear that must live inside the people who may be responsible for what happened to Celeste. I mean, can you expand upon that a little bit more?
I haven't been to the grocery store in months because this delivery service offers hundreds of high-quality, non-GI.
I was sitting there thinking, I'm like, how? I personally think there's 4 or 5 people that know what happened, or at least on boat,
at least
Tesla, and
at least 5 people. Gang,
I don't know how they live with them. So I mean, it's got to be.
He ain't do that shit by himself. Hell yeah.
Like if it was me, I'd want to just.
Then cut up, like, come on, bro, y'all cut up this 14-year-old girl. Then y'all ain't gonna say nothing, like, bro.
It's gonna be too.
Even if y'all didn't kill her, gang, y'all cut her body up, bro. Like, y'all could have just called the cops and shit, dealt with the consequences of you being a weirdo, gang. But now you want to be a weirdo and a high body ass fucking. Man, listen, gang. It's that weird, bro.
It's too late, and I don't understand how they
I don't see why his ass not even arrested.
I don't know how.
You need to arrest his ass for conspiracy.
That ended up in a Tesla trunk for a long period of time, and
that's what I'm saying. She was.
Some of these people were out on tour and just going about their regular.
And then they just kept her in the trunk, like.
Them, and I just urged them.
They didn't think to do nothing with that shit. They just kept it there.
Charges. This is about doing the right thing.
That's what I'm saying, bro.
And to be clear, when you say
weird,
these are people that might have knowledge about what happened, but not necessarily physically were responsible for where Celeste was found. That's what you mean?
I personally, myself, right now, if you had asked me, I think this is probably like an overdose, an accidental thing that they did not have a hand in. Maybe they had drugs around that it shouldn't have been, but I don't think anybody at this point of anything that anybody killed Celeste, right? So that makes it even worse for me. The fact is, she ended up in this. Instead of calling first responders, they put her in this Tesla, and I just, I wanted those people to think about, like, this is going to weigh on your mind for the rest of your life. Come forward, say what happened. This 14-year-old girl, she deserves that,
And, this shit gonna be a documentary, gang. Bro, y'all gonna see this shit a couple years.
A little bit more clarity on. You clarified recently regarding the items that were found in the house. You say there's been a misquote that is circulating online suggesting that you referred to the items that were found in this Hollywood Hills home as heavy tools or farm machinery. Can you clarify what you meant?
Yeah. So that I will say that publication did retract that statement. It was a recorded interview. So they have changed it, but of course it was already out there. But so what I said was, and what I've always said was, these were items that you would not find at a house. They would have serve no purpose at a house in the Hollywood Hills. It's items you would find more like in a farm environment. And that's exactly what I said. They're just not, it would have no use at a house in the Hollywood Hills.
If you don't want to identify what those items are, can at the very least you say, would it be items that someone could use to dismember a body?
To dismember and completely dispose of.
Okay, I got you. Okay,
I mean that's where the statistics came from. This was not about like maybe dismembering her or anything. This is about evaporating her.
Look, Steve, I appreciate you coming on. I appreciate you clearing the record, setting straight what is available, what isn't available, what we may expect, what we might not expect.
Man, that's the newest update on this situation, gang. Like, comment, subscribe, man. I ain't gonna lie, bro. That shit crazy, but long live Herc, man.